right, y'all, this is our takes. Mark the moderator.
Banks.com, the game is the game always.
Leaf, his only family, Brooklyn forever.
Avery the process. Shout to Bill and Dane.
You're not getting them. Stop. All right, y'all. So listen, based off of the finals now, and gotta ask the question because it's being thrown up right now. Not talking about the past. Right now, in this moment, going into the 2022 season, who would you say is the best player in the NBA right now?
Mark, how about you start?
Right now, I would say that Kevin Durant would be the best player in the league right now. It'll be KD.
I'm waiting on Avery because Avery's face is killing me right now.
Yo, I can't do this now, man. I mean, if we going off of just, I mean, KD, but I don't even, honestly, I don't even think it's close. You gotta go KD. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, you have to go KD.
But that's not the narrative right now. That's why I'm throwing it out there.
Because you gotta win a chip. That's the science. They say, okay, if you win a chip, you're of the elite and you're the best player in the league. Like, it don't work like that, man. Everybody's not LeBron. That's why I keep saying LeBron went to a chip how many years in a row? So he's just like you said, Mark, he's in the upper room. You really can't have the conversation with him. So now the other tier players, KD, in my opinion, finished the season playing at an elite level and was a big toe away from getting his team to the finals. So, you know what I mean? So I'm still going to lean towards KD.
Eastern Conference Finals.
I'm sorry, Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference Finals. I would. Yeah, I gotta go with KD too, man. And it's crazy because I still want to say LeBron because of everything he brings to the floor, but he's definitely losing a step. You can see it. And especially we sat here and we questioned what KD can do coming back off that injury. And I agree. I agree with what you said, Avery. He's kind of he got a few steps ahead of the person, whoever we think is behind him. He's a few steps ahead of them, man. His offensive game is crazy. When he wants to play defense, he can. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's definitely Kevin Durant for me.
Hey, Banks?
I know what Banks is about to say. Let's hear this.
Man, I think easy choice, man. It's Julius Randle, man, without question.
High five, bro. High five.
No disrespect to my man Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a good player, but it's a clean sweep, man. Kevin Durant's the best player in the league. When you talk about Giannis is really good, but there's some holes in his game. There's really nothing that Kevin Durant can't do. Score in the post, score mid-range, score from deep, dribble, pass, shoot, all that. Play defense. There's really no holes in his game, and I don't know if LeBron has lost that much of a step, but I want to say, man, at 37 years old, I think it's hard to be the best player in the game still. LeBron is still LeBron, but I don't know. What I am seeing more is I still see LeBron when I'm out there watching the games, but you see spots where he takes off because, he just can't do it at that elite level for that long of a time anymore. But it's a clean sweep. I think Kevin Durant's the best player in the league.
Let me just throw this out there. Before the injury, he was in the MVP talk, which is crazy when you think about it at 37. To think about that.
He's going to be 37. He's not 37 yet. He's 36.
Well, right, 36. Still at 36 to be in the MVP conversation is something as well. So
you got to give credit for the way he takes care of his body, man. He really treats basketball and his legacy. He's very serious about it. He's very strict about his diet, getting his sleep in, doing all the things he needs to do to prepare for the season. So I think there's something to be said about that. It's 36 in the MVP conversation. Absolutely.
I think it's going to be interesting going forward because now Giannis' name is up there, and Giannis has been named or been spoken of as being the best player in the league right now. So I know. Listen, trust me. Banks, you said it clearly. The fact he has holes in his game still I can't put you up as the best player.
Very good, but he's nowhere near the best player.
No, he's nowhere near the best player.
There's Kevin Durant can do everything that you need to do on a basketball court. Every single thing that you need him to do on a basketball court, he can do.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that the mantle is going to be passed to Kevin Durant going forward as LeBron leaves out? Do you think it's going to be Kate? You think it's going to be Kevin's lead going forward after this?
I don't know. I think it might take a couple, maybe for a couple of years, but let's not forget, Kevin Durant is not a young man either. So I don't know. I don't know who it is, man. But I think the NBA is in good shape with the young talent they got coming up.
Listen, I'm gonna say I think Giannis is arguably top 5, top 10 player in the league.
Top 10. I'll put him in the top 10.
I don't know. I think he took some steps closer to the top 5 if he ain't top 5.
Let me just say this to that. But wait, to that point is this though. I gotta see the follow-up. See, I can't do it without the follow-up.
But wait, let me say this. I'm gonna say this. I believe and I agree with you. I agree with you, Mark. But and I feel like, I can't stand when people mention the MVP because I feel the MVP is kind of is baseless to me or whatever. But I think that we got to think about what outside of a championship, what can Giannis do to cement himself in the top 5? You know,
follow this up.
I don't know. I'm trying to, because I want to make sure that what happens is I don't want Giannis to not make the finals and we say, see, he's not that good.
No. It's not that.
No. I didn't.
I'm talking about the narrative.
Right. No.
I don't think that would happen. I don't think that would happen here because.
Let me add this, Lee.
Hold
on, Lee.
Okay.
Listen, let me say this again. We expect certain things from him in the regular season. Going into this playoffs, and if we're honest with ourselves, we question him going into this playoff series. Okay?
He had to win.
He had to win. So, once again, I'm really talking about the follow-up is let's see what next year look like if they get to the playoffs again, and let's see what it looks like. That's my only thing. I can't anoint you based off of just what you could, because I had questions about you, and I don't think the question has been answered based off of this one series. That's me. Go ahead, Lee.
Series. I agree with you because my knock on him over the last 2 years, if you look at the playoff series that they lost, let's look at his production dropped drastically. When they lost to the Heat, he only averaged 20 points in that series. So to see what he did throughout this stretch of the playoffs and then what he did in the finals, bro, you balled out. He don't even got to make it back to the finals next year. But if he does his numbers and looks like the player he's supposed to look like, we can still say, yo, you lost in the second round, but yet your team lost in the second round, but yeah, you're a top 5 player.
That's why I said, Banks, go ahead, because you feel differently.
I just want, okay, so yes, regular season stuff. First of all, Lee said he only averaged 20 points. Now, granted, whatever he averaged prior to that, yes, it was a drop off. But 20 points is still nothing to blink at. And
in the playoffs? In the playoffs?
20 points is 20 points, bro.
No, hold on, Banks. A superstar averaging 20 points in the playoffs in a series that you lost gets murdered.
Okay. But back to what I'm saying, all right? He's put together a pretty good resume to this point. One of only 3 players in league history, no matter how you feel, to win Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in the same year. So now we're saying, yo, you had to win a chip to solidify all this. Now we're saying, I need you to do it again. Not necessarily win a chip, but you got to keep showing me this consistently. Okay. That's what we're saying.
I just want to make sure that I got it right. You stated that this season was the anomaly that normally doesn't happen. Am I right or wrong? Didn't you state that?
Yeah.
So, in weighing that out and using that as a factor, I am sitting here saying, let's see what you do next year, because this year was a different year. We can't put so much stock into this year based upon everything that took place. That's all I'm saying.
let it, but I was gonna say that's kind of wild because coming into the playoffs is like, yo, you got to show us something. You got to go to the finals. You got to go deep, and you won the chip. And now we're saying you got to do it again.
But there's context in there.
I get it.
Right. That's the piece. There's context in there in the statements because of we know how things actually transpired. So we can't sit there and say, hold on, wait a minute. Yes, you have a chip. Yes, you have this. But at the end of the day, it's questions because, again, we want to see that, was it this year only or is this the real deal? And that's how we say we're going to find out next year if it's the real deal or not. It's the follow-up. The follow-up is everything because let's be honest. We question the Clippers. When the Clippers lost last year, it was run it back. And now that they have fallen short once again, you looking at the Clippers like y'all ain't really all that then. But Kawhi got hurt.
I can give you a better example of that. Everybody knows, Kevin Durant has been a top 5 player in this league for years. And people still questioned him, even after winning 2 chips for Golden State. Now you got to go someplace and win it on your own. The question always comes out. So it should be no exception for anyone else.
And he hasn't won it on his own yet.
Exactly. And even if he wins it next year, it's still going to be the question mark, right?
100%.
It's still going to be
because he had 2 players riding with him.
You got James Harden or you got Kyrie. So it's
that's
always
the drawback of them super teams.
And that's a good point. That's a drawback of having a super team that it is going to take away from one person because of where you are sitting at and standing. Just like right now, if you look at and you listen to the rumors, but if Golden State gets a top player,
Bradley Beal,
it goes to fall on once again. Yo, y'all can't win without having a super team. So that's what the question is, and it's not it's not an unfair question. It's a real question.
Their first chip wasn't a super team; it was a homegrown team that they built.
No, see, all right, no, you're right. The first chip wasn't a super team, but then it goes back to what I was saying earlier. The next year, when y'all could have cemented it, you blew the 3-1 lead, and then you went and got a super team and just ran away with the NBA.
Okay. That's what I said. I'm like, yo, I'm sitting here telling you. It's like, yo, listen, the run it back is everything because it's going to show where you really are. And it's not nothing wrong with that because, again, yo, I say it all the time. Yo, your freshman album might have been dope, but I want to hear your sophomore album. It's the follow-up.
Listen, let's keep it a buck.
You got an opportunity to get one, you better get it because you never know what happens next year, G.
A lot of fans would love like their team's owners to be like Golden State. Like, yo, we're gonna pay this luxury tax for how long we gonna pay it, as long as we gonna keep winning. You feel it's only bothering the other teams that's not winning. Golden State fans don't care. Just like Bucks fans don't care right now.
But Leaf, you said something, and I gotta throw it out there with the context.
What's up?
If the Bucks face the Nets in the second round again, and the Nets is healthy and they beat the Bucks, does it diminish what we just seen? I'm just asking a question. Does it diminish what we just seen if they go up against a healthy Nets team and lose? And does it then changes things?
I believe it does. I believe that will be the narrative where people's gonna go back to. Like, yo, look, y'all only won because these dudes was hurt. Not saying I agree with it because they seized the moment. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to seize the moment, and that's what they did.
I agree. For me, it doesn't. But the reality is out of will.
Why I'm going to say I disagree because not all losses are created equal either, right? If they go out and they get swept, maybe I could even see that argument. If they lose in 5, maybe I can see that argument. If it's a competitive series and they lose in 7, you still make that argument, or y'all would have lost to this team anyway?
You know what? Let me say this, though.
That's a good question.
Let me say this. The only thing that I'm going to say is before the injuries in that series, the Nets looked like they was going to run away with that series.
100%.
So for the Bucks to face them, and if the Bucks were to take them 6 or 7 games, I think that's kudos to the Bucks.
Kudos to the Bucks.
I really do.
Definitely.
They would need to go
went
6 or 7
They
games.
went game 7, right? They went 7 this year, right?
Yes.
7 games.
Yes.
Yep.
Without
With a star
Kyrie.
and a half.
right.
James Harden on one leg.
Right. So that's why I sit and say, in the context of this, I think the Bucks would have to go into a 6 or 7 game series to really show that, hold on, we could have.
I agree with you. I could agree with that. So good question
Right.
about good question, Banks and Mark. I like your answer. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, because if not, then it definitely it questions. And I think that's the thing about getting back. The Bucks going back, I think, would really cement themselves as a team if they were to get by in the East by the Nets.
My whole thing though now is like, because if it goes 6 or 7 games, does the Bucks winning the chip give them confidence where they're on a different confidence level, right? You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, prior to that, they would have got run out of the building more than likely if everybody was healthy. But now winning the chip and knowing like, we're champions, we have that championship medal, we can do this. They could go 6 or 7. It's possible they can go 6 or 7 with
But there's another side to that also, Banks. You can also get complacent and feel that I got the chip, and now you're not as hungry because you got the chip. That can happen also.
Yeah, it's almost like they don't want it as much anymore, Mark.
Yo, Avery, high fucking 5, bro. Boom! Boom!
Sorry, just have that out there.
Nice try. But you don't know what side of the fence that will fall on. So that's why it's going to be interesting to see the follow-up. And that's why I said the follow-up is going to be interesting.
Listen, man, you could have, Bang, I'm going to say this. You could have all the confidence because you just won the chip. When that ball go up in the air and you get smacked in your goddamn face, it's a whole different
story. Nobody's sleeping on you.
Yeah,
nobody's sleeping on you.
Yeah, they're not going under the radar. Like, right, I got you.
Nobody's sleeping on you.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is like, you know that you overcame adversity. You know you got, you know what I'm saying? So maybe the Nets punching them in the mouth, where they might have been like, you know what? Time to pack it up and send it home. They'd be like, yo, we've been through this before. We know how to fight back through this. That's all I'm saying.
It's possible. Like I said, it's all possible. Quickly, before we end this last segment, I gotta ask a question. Do the Suns get back?
Nope.
Hell to the no. The Suns make it to the playoffs.
I can see it. I can see the Suns getting back. Chris Paul resigns. I can see the Suns getting back. I think
Get back where?
Oh, my
you
bad.
don't have to agree with me. I think they can get back to the finals.
To the finals?
My bad. I hope my battery dies.
Hold on. The only way I'm gonna agree with Banks is if they add a third player.
What third player? I mean, they have 3. They have no real space to add another top player.
No. They have to add somebody else, bro. That's the only way I can see it. So right now, until that happens,
you giving up on Chris Paul?
Chris Paul at this point has to be your third best player, and on certain nights he could be your second best. Chris Paul cannot be your first player every night, and he can't be the second player a lot of nights. He has to substitute it in.
Let me just say this. For the Suns, I think if Ayton doesn't come back better, they have to get another player to play in between Chris Paul and Booker. It can't be Ayton because he can't give you enough.
You can't throw him the ball and be like, yo, go get me a basket.
Yeah, you can't.
Right.
I mean, listen again. Now maybe in this offseason that might change. If he works and he comes back a different player, that could change. If you can get a bucket from him with ease, then that makes that team better. But if you can't, then you got to get a third player, and it can't. You got to go Booker, Chris Paul, and the third player. Can't be Ayton. Not in this league because he can't stretch the floor, and you need the floor to be stretched in this league.
He needs a consistent 15 to 18 foot jump shot. I don't even really need him shooting threes. Just to be more consistent with his jump shot.
I don't think a lot of teams have a match up with That's what it is. Yeah, but when you go against a better team, you're gonna need that. But yeah, if he gets a little 15, 18 footer, he should be good with his skill set already.
Let's see. I mean, listen, we will definitely see. I see Avery left us. All right. So on that note, y'all, this is our take, man. We will see you next week. Peace.
Later.